Okay, I managed to get a tripod out here. I was on my way down to the shop. I don't know how well you can see them. There's about 4 or 5 deer there. And right above them, the coyotes have been yapping back and forth, and I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. They've been yapping for 15 or 20 minutes. I'm just curious if they're interested in them deer or what's going on. I've been glassing it for the 15 minutes they've been yapping, and I haven't been able to find them. Morning, guys. What'd you think of those deer and coyotes having a little episode out there this morning? It's hard to say what's going on in their heads, but it was kind of cool. And sometimes they walk right through my yard and stuff. But anyway, get you a cup of coffee. I'm Buckskin Dave, and today, now that the 58 caliber is done, I've got a new project that's going to probably take me a while to figure out, because it's not something where you could just get all the stuff and go. Imagine yourself in the 1860s, say around 1866, when the single shot cartridge rifles were coming out, and which, you know, they're black powder cartridge rifles, and they offered a lot faster reload than the muzzleloader. So they became popular, and one of them was the rolling block action. And man, what a stout action it was. And they made buffalo guns out of them. They made military rifles out of them. They went, Remington rolling block, boy, it definitely helped Remington out, because they sold the patent all over the world. The Danish made them, Sweden, and the ones that were made in America were turned into rifles and sent all over the place. This one here is a #1 action. We'll talk about, there's a difference between the actions. This is a #1, which means it was made during the black powder era. It's almost identical to what we would call #5 action. The #5 action was made with modern steel, so it will hold better pressures than the black powder ones. Anyway, this is a #1. It's going to be a black powder cartridge rifle when it's done, and we're going to do something a little different just than your standard buffalo rifle. So stick with me, and I'll let you know what we're going to do with this and how it's going to go. Let's take a look at this action really quick. Like I say, this one is a #1. This would be indicative of the first ones that were made in the black powder days. But they're all kind of made with the same idea. This one has a broken trigger, so the hammer won't stay back, but you open up the chamber like so, and that's where you'd throw your cartridge in, close it, and then when you shoot, of course, this goes down and sends the pin across there. So, interesting thing about these actions, even the American-made ones, which I thought it was something of one of the European jobs. This is a plug that I made. I've turned several of these into rifles. This is a plug that I made, and if you can see it, if it focuses, they're square threads, not triangular. And this is a plug I made for one of the other ones. They're not all the same size. I got a different plug for this one. Some of them are a little smaller, and it seems like some of the European ones were a little bit bigger, but they all had the same thread pitch, and they're square. Totally, I don't remember. Square thread. A couple of books that has all the information that you need for these two here. This military Remington rolling block, which the rolling block was a military gun, because it was a guy could load a single shot really quick, much quicker than a muzzleloader. This one here has some more stuff about Remington rolling blocks. The big thing that I worry about is the number one action is a black powder action, because it's made out of steel in the 1800s, like 1860s and 70s. And the number 5 it was made later, getting close to 1900, and is made with better steel. If you're planning on shooting smokeless through it, or if I'm making a gun for a smokeless customer, then I would want to use the number 5 action. This one's a rolling block. This is a number 5 action, and I bought this. It was a 7mm Mauser, and it had Ecuadorian marks on it. So, and it was beat all to hell, and actually I don't even think it was shootable. So I took all the junk off of it, and I made this into, and if you look at some of the books, like this one here on the rolling block, I made this into about what a rifle would have looked like in 1875, coming off the presses for hunting. It would have been a hunting and a sporting and a target rifle. The only difference is some of them came with a crescent buttstock. Some of them came with kind of a shotgun type buttstock, and with this one I just put a rubber pad on it. It shoots great. What I'm doing with these actions here, like I said, put yourself in the 1860s when these actions were becoming available. In the late 1860s, a guy named Gemmer bought the Hawken shop. Sam Hawken retired, and he bought it. And these single shot actions were starting to be out there, and actually one of them was your Spencer action, which wasn't, it was a repeater, but he used the Spencer actions, he used the Sharps action, which is a falling block, and he used a trap door, and he built Hawken rifles with Hawken looking rifles with these actions in it. And I'm pretty sure he did a few with rolling blocks. I haven't found a living specimen yet to look at, but I have seen where other people have tried it and made it, and they've come out good. That's what we're going to make. We're going to make a rolling block Hawken, and from here forward it's going to look like a 1860 late model Hawken plains rifle, and from here back it's going to look like about an 1860-ish, 50, 40, 50, 60-ish Hawken rifle back here with the crescent buck stop. And then we're going to also have to do a little work with this to make a trigger guard that would match up to the Hawken. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not going to happen overnight. I just got one action, and I'm still working on getting it running, and I'm waiting for some wood and some other things like that, and there's some problems I'm going to have to work out with it. But I'll tell you what, if you stick with the channel, you'll be part of that, and I will update you as we go. So, but right for now, the sun's shining, and it's kind of warm outside. I'm thinking maybe going and throwing some rounds downrange with the buffalo rifle. I like shooting these 45-90s with black powder. So this rolling block has some loads loaded up. Ladder sight in the rear. It actually even has a flip up sight where you can have a regular straight post, or you can have this sheltered post, I guess. And then I also have the veneer sights on this one. Very rarely use it because my eyes ain't worth a... I can't... The gun will shoot further away than I can see anyway. But again, now this is how it works. This one's a working action, so you got to cock it, then you open it up, and this one's a 45-90, so you put your round in, so, and then close it. So let's try a 100-yard gong for first try. So you put another one in and close it, and then you could actually set this on half cock too for carrying it around. The trigger on these is quite stout, and they usually need just a little bit of trigger work to make them. These were military guns, at least this one was. So I've got the trigger pretty good on this one right now. Let's try another 100-yarder. Right. Black powder sure got a lot of bunch. It's a 520 grain bullet, and I believe this black powder load's got it going about 1,500. So anyway, I'm going to shoot a little bit more. Grab you another cup of coffee. Okay, so one thing neat about cleaning a single shot rifle is every time you shoot, the bullet takes out some of the fouling. So all we have to do is kind of push out the last load, wipe it out, give it a shove, clean it. And I like, I shot, well, you saw me shoot 2, and I shot a couple of more rounds after that at the 100, and I shot one at the 100. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. This one's ready to go back on the shelf. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Stick with me. We're going to be working on this action probably for the next 5 or 6 months, and I'll update you on it, and we'll have some fun with that. We'll build us another buffalo gun, a Gemmer Hawken. So it's going to be a fun project. Thanks for joining me. Always appreciate the company. Have a great day. Bye-bye.